Greetings and salutations, my dear audience. This is Joe St. Egg Benedictus, just coming at you with a brief mention of an interesting verse in Psalm 38 that I found in Robert Alter's, I don't want to lose my page, Robert Alter's Hebrew Bible, the writings in the book of Psalms. And then I want to turn your attention to the NRSV and the King James Version for a very specific note of interest. First of all, Psalm 138, verse 3. Verse 4. In Robert Alter's translation says this: "There is no whole place in my flesh through your rage, no soundness in my limbs through my offense." Now, what caught my attention was this whole place. There is no whole place. And then it also appears down here somewhere. Let's see. Somewhere. Anyway. Oh, right here, verse 8. "And there is no whole place in my flesh." As I was reading this for my devotions, it got me thinking about just what does that mean? No whole place in my flesh. What is missing? What is the poet trying to evoke here? Anyway, I got to thinking, so what I want to do is obviously look it up in the NRSV. And so I looked it up in the NRSV to see what the rendering was. And the rendering is, I'm trying to do this with one hand. Okay, if you go to Psalm 38, verse 4, "For my iniquities have gone over me." Nope. Psalm 3. Sorry, it's a little different rendering in the Christian Bible. "There is no soundness in my flesh. There is no health in my bones." So the word soundness, I thought, okay. So I wanted to look it up in the King James, King James Version, the authorized. Psalm 38, verse 3, "There is no soundness in my flesh, neither is there any rest in my bones." Soundness is used in the King James and the NRSV. All right? NRSV. One of the things I want to mention is that I've been in the NRSV for a very long time. And one of the things that you may not know, if you've never read the NRSV, is that 8 times out of 10, the NRSV is closer to the King James Version than a lot of other modern translations. There's a lot of hate going on with the NRSV, and a lot of people comment about it. But it is and claims to be a cousin of the King James Version. And so many times, I would say 80% of the time, if you look in modern translations of words that are changed, the NRSV sticks very, very closely with the King James Version. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'm only using this one little verse as an example, but I can give you tons of verses in which the King James Version and NRSV are closely related, or closer related than even in some cases the NIV. Just doing work in the NRSV for so long, I've come to know that. And so when people say, "Oh, the NRSV is this or that," and it is close to the King James Version. So, I know King James Version only people have their qualms about modern translations, period. But don't single out the NRSV as if it's some kind of pagan translation, which is a comment from one of my listeners, or some kind of vile translation. It is closer to the King James Version than most other modern translations. So let's get the facts straight and just make sure that whether you're reading the King James Version, the NRSV, or any other translation, that you realize that God will communicate through his word regardless of the translation, as long as you're using one of the main modern translations that most churches use. All right, just wanted to make that note. Give a shout out to my pal Mike, to all the visionaries and mystics out there. Thank you for joining me. See you later.